Hi guys, and welcome back to a new video. This is going to be a trade of the week number whatever it is, and I'm going to run you through this trade that I took this week on USDJPY. So in total, there was one intraday position and there was one swing style position. Swing style position was a 1-to-21 and the intraday a 1-to-6. So I suppose with partials, probably around 20% gain in total. But I'll run you through my method of why I went in for these shorts. So from a higher time frame perspective on the monthly, I simply noted that we'd run some highs. You know, we had these highs that we'd run, and we'd run that up into this weekly order block, right? Now, this weekly order block effectively was the last up before this entire shift downwards. So I was expecting some kind of reaction from there. And then on the daily time frame, you can see we actually followed suit by breaking down like so. So we ran this high and then we started breaking structure on the daily. So we've got this daily structure break, and effectively that was framing my trade. So we had this like a raid of this high and then a structure break. Now I took it down onto the 4 hour, so it was at this point, but I was basically looking for an order block or a point of interest that I could look for entry. And as you can see, this price action was fairly efficient. We had this shift up which looked like it had taken out some highs and run some stops, so I wasn't looking really above there. And then as you can see, I came to this point here. So this last up before this down, it's broken some structure, and there's been a lot of momentum to the downside. So a lot of inefficiency created at that point. So I was looking for basically a return up to that level, and then some entry confirmations to look to get in short. So when it actually came to it, if I just speed price on a little bit here. So on the Monday, if I'm looking for swing positions, I often wait for the Monday just to play out, because sometimes what it does is it creates some liquidity on the Monday, and then on the Tuesday it runs it out. So as you can see here, we've got these highs here that get created on the Monday, and I could have probably looked to enter there, but I actually hadn't tapped into my point of interest at that point. So I was expecting a run of these into the point of interest and then a chance to look at getting into the trade. So coming into Tuesday, we finally get our run up into this area, and I dropped onto the lower time frame like so, and I basically noted, there you are, I noted out this area as an area of interest for me because it was a 5-minute breaker. So we had the break pattern there, we had the run up, then we had the shift down with a break of this structure. And also around that area, we also had this inefficient price action there. So that area for me was confluenced well enough to look for an entry there. And essentially what I would do is just wait for price to get up into that area, wait for some sort of rejection, and then look to get in. Now, I was quite fortunate with this trade, I'll be honest, because I happened to be awake at the time of entering this trade. I wouldn't normally enter trades out of session, but with this being a swing trade, you know, I just went for it. So moving price on a little bit more, wait till it gets up into that breaker block. There you are. So price gets into this area here. As you can see, we tap into this area and it creates a bit of a rejection there. And I believe this is about where I got in. So I basically wait for the rejection, seen a couple more down candles, and then I market executed at that point, put the stop above the high. As far as targets go for that trade, I was basically just looking to run out the low down here. So that was my initial target. I do believe price is going to come and take out this low at some point whenever it decides to, and then potentially trade into these areas of inefficient price action. But we'll see in due time. So ended that one. I basically waited for a good run down, and then made that trade break even. So I had 1% risk on that, and then I took that risk off the table by making it break even. And then I essentially looked for a potential re-entry, but more so for like an intraday trade. So going into the Wednesday, I basically just seen, if I go down to the 1 minute time frame, because this is where I framed the trade on, I saw these relatively equal highs. All of this price action up here was relatively efficient. You know, the imbalance had been filled effectively, and this was the last area that was sort of inefficient, and it coincidentally happened to be above these relatively equal highs. So I was expecting a run of those, and then was potentially looking to gain entry. So we got a run of those, and then I think I might have waited. Oh, let me do that. I might have waited for a little bit more confirmation at this point there. You can see had this order block here. So basically the confirmation that I waited for was a run of those highs, then a market structure break at this point on the 15-minute time frame. I then saw we had two OBs, we had this one and we had this one, and I decided to just play it safe. My risk reward was good enough, so I just had this order block as an entry. You know, it created some imbalance to the downside after pushing away from it, so that was good enough entry. I could have put my stop loss here, but with there being an order block and some imbalance up here, I just decided to, you know, make it safe and keep it up there. So in total, you know, we had the original position and then we had this one. Also, things to note with these, as we got our run up into this original point of interest, and as we got this run up here, the reason why I was so hell bent on shorts was obviously we had all these confirmations, but we also had some very obvious liquidity to the downside. So we had, there you are, very obvious liquidity, especially for the re-entry. So that's why I decided to go in for the re-entry there. Very obvious liquidity and fairly low resistance target, one that it could just push down and eliminate straight away. So as you can see, price essentially just reached through that. Now, and the reason why I had this original take profit there, it wasn't actually that far, but I had my trade manager, which was it's called Magic Keys, and essentially you put in take profits, partial take profits, auto break evens, and you set levels for them. And I mustn't have said it correctly, so by the time I came back to check, it actually ran past where my take profit would have been, which would have been this level here, and it probably would have been about 1 to 4, yeah, 1 to 4, but it had actually run past that point, and I just manually closed it around this area. Then throughout the rest of the week, we get that continuation down, and we are currently where we are now. Now, just to show you that I did actually take the trade, here's the screenshot, is the MT5 history. There's the original entry, which was the one up here, the swing trade, and you can see that went all the way down here. I did take some partials and then just took full profit at the low. And then this one here, so the entry there, it went down to there. That was just my intraday position, and it was a market X. And also, I decided to take the position off just to secure some profit, just in case for some reason this original swing position decided that it wanted to reverse and come take me out. At least I'd take some profit off the table. But like I said, in total, it was probably around 20%, probably maybe even a bit more. I haven't calculated it off the top of my head. But yeah, those are the original entries. And here was the screenshots just to prove that I did actually take those trades as well, and I'm not just waffling. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this trade of the week. And before I go, actually, I'll just let you know the other position that I'm in. So I'm currently in USDJPY, and I am holding it over the weekend. Essentially, this one is basically got me in a position where it looks good. It's on a Friday, so it's a bit less conviction going into it, but the confirmations were still there, so I decided to take it. And this is more of a swing position as well. So, you know, if we look at the daily time frame, it's following pretty similarly to what USDJPY was doing. And if we have a look on the 1 hour time frame, we had a run of some liquidity in here into a 1 hour order block. So we then had a movement off. I missed this. We had the movement off from there. We broke some more structure, and then basically coming into today, we hit into this order block. So this order block created a big momentum shift to the downside, and we slowly went back up there. I'll just go down onto this time frame here. You can see there was a lot of resting liquidity around this area, and we just poked above that, and we did give an entry up here, but essentially I just waited for some more confirmation. We got a push up and then a significant break of structure at this point, at which point I looked to enter off the order block. So my entry is a little bit wrong there. I entered off this order block there. Why the order block? Last push up before this significant down push. There's some imbalances, confluence there. There's also the 159.750 level, so it's quarter level. We broke structure. So that's what I'm currently holding. It's currently 36 pips in profit. It did go about 60 pips in profit. So I have, broke even the trade. So we'll see what happens. I do have a feeling that it might just violate this entirely, but break even now, the risk's off the table, and we'll see what happens going into next week. But anyways, if you enjoyed this trade of the week and you enjoyed a bit of the insight about what I've been taking recently, please drop a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you guys in the next video.